I feel sorry for you people that don't drink. I mean it, because when you wake up in the morning, that's as good as you're going to feel all day.
How long would a bottle of vodka last?
Half a day.
Half a day?
Yeah.
You drink a couple bottles a day?
2 bottles a day, and then...
Before, I'm a lot more comfortable. I'm older now, you know. I mean, you pretty much get it down pat after.
Ever wondered about the darker side of rock and roll? Stick around, because today we're diving into the wild and tragic tales of 35 music legends who battled the bottle. Here we go. 35. Billie Holiday. All right, kicking off our list at number 35 is none other than Billie Holiday. Born Eleanora Fagan in 1915, Billie Holiday quickly became one of the most influential jazz vocalists of all time. Can you imagine going from a tumultuous childhood in Philadelphia to dominating New York City's vibrant jazz scene? That's Billie for you. Sheer indomitable spirit and unyielding passion for music. Despite having no formal training, Holiday's unique vocal style, especially her innovative manipulation of tempo and rhythm, left an unforgettable mark on music. She started singing in Harlem nightclubs at a young age and got her big break when producer John Hammond discovered her in the early 1930s. Her collaboration with Benny Goodman was a game changer, bringing us hits like Riffin' the Scotch and Your Mother's Son-in-Law. But it was her heart-wrenching rendition of Strange Fruit, a song that powerfully protested racial violence, that truly etched her name in music history. Throughout her career, Billie worked with jazz greats like Lester Young, Count Basie, and Artie Shaw, solidifying her reputation as a top-tier talent. However, despite her soaring professional success, Billie's personal life was a different story. She struggled with alcoholism and faced numerous legal troubles, which took a toll on her later performances and recordings. Sadly, she passed away on July 17, 1959, at just 44 years old from complications related to alcohol-induced cirrhosis of the liver. Her legacy, though, is forever cemented in the annals of jazz history. 34. Chet Baker. Next up, at number 34, we have the smooth and charismatic Chet Baker. This guy was the epitome of cool, with his James Dean looks and a lifestyle to match. But behind the suave exterior, Baker battled severe alcoholism that ultimately hindered his incredible musical talents. Chet Baker was a gifted trumpeter whose mellow tone on the horn was iconic. He was so associated with his drinking that a cocktail was even named after him, a mix of aged rum, Carpano Antica, and honey. But his substance abuse took a heavy toll, transforming his appearance from a youthful heartthrob to a shadow of his former self. By the end of his career, Baker was deeply addicted, not just to alcohol, but also to heroin. He was reportedly consuming up to 6 grams of heroin a day, along with a cocktail of other drugs like cocaine, codeine, barbiturates, and hash. Baker often injected these substances, sometimes every 5 minutes, especially when mixed in his favorite speedball cocktail. Tragically, Chet Baker's life came to a mysterious and sad end. On May 13, 1988, he was found dead outside his hotel in Amsterdam, the Hotel Prins Hendrik. It appeared he had fallen from his second-floor window, sustaining severe head injuries. Drugs were found in his room, and an autopsy confirmed the presence of cocaine and heroin in his body. 33. Whitney Houston. Moving on to number 33, we have the legendary Whitney Houston. You don't even need to mention her last name for people to know who you're talking about. Whitney's voice was, and still is, absolutely iconic, leaving an indelible mark on the music industry. Despite her glamorous life, Whitney faced a battle with substance abuse that ultimately led to her tragic death in 2012. After her passing, the autopsy revealed that she died from drowning, with atherosclerosis and cocaine use being contributing factors. The toxicology report found cocaine, Xanax, Flexeril, marijuana, and Benadryl in her system. There was also a substance called cocaethylene, formed when cocaine and alcohol are used together. The coroner's report mentioned drug paraphernalia in the bathroom where she was found and an open bottle of champagne along with some beers in the room. 32. Clyde McPhatter. At number 32, we have Clyde McPhatter, a name that might not be as instantly recognizable as Whitney Houston, but no less significant in the world of music. Born Clyde Lensley McPhatter in 1932, he was a pivotal figure in shaping doo-wop and R&B with his high-pitched tenor voice rooted deeply in gospel music. McPhatter was a huge influence in the 1950s and early 1960s, becoming one of the most widely imitated R&B singers of his time. His contributions to the genre, particularly with the Drifters, left a lasting legacy. However, despite his success, McPhatter struggled with alcoholism and depression, issues that severely impacted his life and career. By the time of his death on June 13, 1972, McPhatter was only 39 years old. Years of alcohol abuse had ravaged his kidney, liver, and heart. According to Jay Warner's On This Day in Music History, he was broke and despondent over a mismanaged career that made him a legend, but hardly a success. 31. Eric Clapton. Next up at number 31, we have Eric Clapton. Born on March 30th, 1945, Clapton is an English rock and blues guitarist, singer, and songwriter. Despite his legendary status in the music world, Clapton's life has been marred by intense personal battles, particularly with substance abuse. By the time Clapton started his solo career in 1970, he was already struggling with heroin addiction and alcoholism. His addiction soon began to take a toll on his career. One of the most infamous incidents was during George Harrison's concert for Bangladesh in 1972, where Clapton passed out on stage. Even after overcoming his heroin addiction, Clapton's battle with alcohol continued. He once performed a concert lying on his back because he was too drunk to stand up. Reflecting on the incident, Clapton told NPR Music in 2007, "It didn't seem that outlandish to me, and in fact, probably was all I was capable of. It was either that or just laying down somewhere else. The fact that I was laying down on stage means at least I showed up." The severity of his situation prompted record label boss Amit Erdogan to intervene, fearing for Clapton's life. Clapton's bandmate from Derek and the Dominoes, Bobby Whitlock, told Rolling Stone's Nick Murray, "You can't stop a junkie. Only death stops a junkie." Tragically, the band fell apart due to these struggles. Clapton even faced suicidal thoughts until he successfully overcame his drug addiction in the mid-1980s. Clapton's journey is a powerful reminder of the destructive power of addiction, even for the most celebrated musicians. His eventual triumph over his demons and continued success in music shows the resilience and strength he possesses. 30. Hank Williams. Coming in at number 30, we have Hank Williams, a name synonymous with country music. Born Hiram King Williams on September 17, 1923, in Mount Olive, Alabama, Williams is one of the most influential country music artists of all time. His career, though tragically short, left a profound impact on the genre. Williams had a unique ability to turn his personal struggles into deeply emotional and relatable songs. Despite his immense talent and success, his life was plagued by chronic back pain, which led to a dependency on alcohol and prescription drugs. These issues frequently interfered with his performances and ultimately led to his dismissal from the Grand Ole Opry. Tragically, Williams died at just 29 years old on January 1st, 1953. His heart failure was exacerbated by his substance abuse issues, marking a heartbreaking end to a brilliant yet troubled life. 29. Frank Sinatra. Kicking things off at number 29, we have Frank Sinatra, the legendary chairman of the board. Sinatra wasn't just known for his smooth voice and timeless hits. He was also infamous for his love of booze. Imagine this: Sinatra would routinely down multiple glasses of whiskey, typically Jack Daniels, before hitting the hay, only to wake up and do it all over again. One bottle of Jack a day was the norm for Sinatra well into his 80s. When his doctors finally told him to cut it out, Sinatra, like many alcoholics facing health warnings, simply switched to wine. 28. Keith Whitley. At number 28, we have Jackie Keith Whitley, a talented American country singer with a tragically short career. Born on July 1st, 1954 in Ashland, Kentucky, Whitley was a rising star in country music. He started performing in Ralph Stanley's band in 1970, and by 1983 he had moved to Nashville to pursue a solo career. Whitley's first top 20 country hit, Miami My Amy, came out in 1986, marking the beginning of his ascent in the country music scene. He married fellow country singer Lori Morgan, and in 1988, he had 3 #1 hits from his album, Don't Close Your Eyes. Despite his success, Whitley's life was overshadowed by his battle with alcoholism. On May 9, 1989, he died of alcohol intoxication at the young age of 34. His legacy lives on through his music, with posthumous hits like I Wonder Do You Think of Me and It Ain't Nothing. 27. Lester Young. Coming in at number 27, we have Lester Willis Young, known to many as Prez or Prez. Born on August 27, 1909, Young was a jazz tenor saxophonist and clarinetist who made a significant mark in the world of jazz. He rose to fame as a member of Count Basie's orchestra and became known for his relaxed, cool tone and sophisticated harmonies. Unlike many of his hard-driving peers, Young's free-floating style, which one critic described as wheeling and diving like a gull, endeared him to both dancers and listeners. Beyond his music, Young was an icon of the hipster culture, popularizing much of the jargon that defined the scene. Despite his influential career, Young's life was troubled by alcohol abuse, which ultimately led to heart failure. He passed away on March 15, 1959, leaving behind a legacy as one of the most influential jazz musicians of his time. 26. Bix Beiderbecke. Next up, we have Leon Bismarck Bix Beiderbecke, an American jazz cornetist, pianist, and composer who made a significant impact on the jazz scene of the 1920s. Born on March 10, 1903, Beiderbecke was renowned for his inventive lyrical approach and purity of tone, which set him apart as one of the most influential jazz soloists of his time. His solos on iconic recordings like Singin' the Blues and I'm Coming Virginia showcased his gift for extended improvisation, helping to define the jazz ballad style. Despite his musical brilliance, Beiderbecke's personal life was overshadowed by his struggles with alcoholism. When he wasn't touring or playing music, he often turned to drinking, which ultimately took a toll on his health. On August 6, 1931, Beiderbecke passed away from complications with pneumonia at the young age of 28. Many jazz historians believe that his chronic alcoholism played a significant role in his untimely death. 25. Lorenz Hart. Moving on to number 25, we have Lorenz Milton Hart, the lyricist half of the legendary Broadway songwriting duo Rodgers and Hart. Hart's illustrious career produced some of the most beloved songs in the American songbook, including classics like Blue Moon, The Lady is a Tramp, and My Funny Valentine. Born on May 2, 1895, Hart's talent for crafting poignant and memorable lyrics earned him a place in musical history. However, his life was plagued by heavy drinking, which ultimately took a toll on his health. On November 22, 1943, Hart passed away as a result of pneumonia complicated by his alcohol consumption. He was 48 years old, leaving behind a legacy of timeless songs that continue to enchant audiences to this day. 24. Amy Winehouse. And finally, at number 24, we have the incomparable Amy Winehouse, an English singer and songwriter whose soulful vocals and eclectic musical style captivated audiences around the world. Born on September 14, 1983, Winehouse's deep, expressive contralto voice and her fusion of soul, rhythm and blues, reggae and jazz made her a unique and unforgettable talent. Despite her musical success, Winehouse battled with addiction throughout her life, struggling with both alcohol and heroin use. Tragically, on July 23, 2011, Winehouse passed away from alcohol poisoning, with the autopsy revealing that she had 5 times the legal limit of alcohol in her blood. Her untimely death shocked the entire music world. 23. Miika Tenkula. Moving on to number 23, we have Miika Tenkula, former lead guitarist and main songwriter of the acclaimed Finnish band Sentenced. Known for his musical talent and contributions to the metal scene, Tenkula's life was tragically cut short at the age of 34. His struggle with alcoholism was no secret, and it escalated after Sentenced disbanded. As they say, they don't call it King Alcohol for nothing. 22. Modest Petrovich Mussorgsky. Number 22 on our list is Modest Petrovich Mussorgsky, a Russian composer and innovator of Russian music in the Romantic period. Despite his significant contributions to music, Mussorgsky battled with alcohol abuse throughout his life. His addiction eventually took its toll, and he passed away on March 28, 1881. 21. Ramses Shaffy. Next up, we have Ramses Shaffy, a French-Dutch singer and actor who rose to fame during the 1960s. Known for his popular songs and collaborations with Dutch singer Lisbeth List, Shaffy's career was overshadowed by his battle with alcohol addiction. On December 1, 2009, he lost his life to esophageal cancer at the age of 76. His addiction likely contributed to his disease, highlighting the destructive impact of alcoholism on both physical and mental health. 20. Townes Van Zandt. And finally, at number 20, we have John Townes Van Zandt, better known as Townes Van Zandt, an American singer-songwriter revered for his masterful folk music compositions. Van Zandt's songs, including Poncho and Lefty and To Live Is to Fly, are celebrated as masterpieces of American folk music. However, behind his musical genius lay a struggle with alcohol and heroin abuse. On January 1, 1997, Van Zandt passed away from a heart attack at the age of 52. 19. Richard Swift. Richard Swift, an American singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, producer, and short filmmaker, left behind a legacy of musical innovation and creativity. However, his life was tragically cut short by the grip of alcoholism. When Swift passed away on July 3, 2018, the immediate cause of death was not disclosed. But shortly after his passing, his family revealed that he had struggled with alcoholism for a significant portion of his life, and it ultimately claimed him. In June 2018, Swift was diagnosed with hepatitis and experienced liver and kidney distress. Recognizing the severity of his condition, he made the difficult decision to enter hospice care, acknowledging that his body could no longer withstand the toll of his addiction. 18. Charlie Parker. Charles Parker Jr., better known as Bird or Yardbird, was an American jazz saxophonist, band leader, and composer who played a pivotal role in the development of bebop. His virtuosic technique and innovative improvisational style revolutionized the genre, earning him a place as one of jazz's most influential figures. Despite his musical genius, Parker battled with alcohol and drug abuse throughout his life. His addiction ultimately led to his premature death at the age of 34. The coroner estimated his age to be between 50 and 60. 17. Bobby Timmons. Robert Henry Timmons, an American jazz pianist and composer, contributed significantly to the jazz world during his career. As a sideman in Art Blakey's Jazz Messengers and Cannonball Adderley's band, Timmons showcased his exceptional talent and creativity on the piano. Tragically, Timmons' life was cut short by cirrhosis of the liver, a condition caused by his struggles with alcoholism. 16. Bobby Brown. Robert Beresford Brown Sr., known as Bobby Brown, rose to fame as an American singer and rapper, noted for his contributions to the New Jack Swing genre. However, alongside his musical success, Brown faced numerous personal struggles, including battles with substance abuse. Brown's addiction issues, particularly his cocaine use, were well documented, and he attributed his struggles in part to his tumultuous relationship with his ex-wife, Whitney Houston. His run-ins with the law, including arrests for DUIs and drug-related offenses, underscore the destructive nature of addiction and its impact on both individuals and their loved ones. 15. Natalie Cole. Natalie Maria Cole, daughter of the legendary Nat King Cole, carved her own path in the music industry with her exceptional talent as a singer, songwriter, and actress. However, behind her success lay a lifelong struggle with substance abuse. In her 2000 autobiography, Cole revealed her battles with drugs, particularly crack cocaine and heroin. Despite entering rehab at least once, her addiction persisted, and in 2008, she was diagnosed with hepatitis C and kidney disease, further complicating her health. 14. David Cassidy. David Cassidy's meteoric rise to fame began in the early 1970s with his role on the musical sitcom The Partridge Family, propelling him into teen idol status and a successful pop music career. However, behind the glitz and glamour, Cassidy grappled with a drinking problem that he used to mask feelings of sadness and emptiness. Despite multiple attempts at sobriety, he struggled with alcoholism, leading to memory problems and liver disease. Tragically, Cassidy passed away on November 21, 2017, succumbing to liver and kidney failure directly linked to his alcoholism. 13. Diana Ross. Diana Ross, renowned for her powerful voice and captivating stage presence, rose to fame as the lead singer of the Supremes, Motown's most successful act during the 1960s. However, Ross faced her own battles with addiction, seeking treatment at a rehab facility in 2002 for issues related to alcohol and prescription drugs. Her struggles continued, leading to a DUI arrest while still undergoing treatment, highlighting the complexities of addiction even for those in the spotlight. 12. Paul Chambers. Paul Lawrence Dunbar Chambers Jr., a jazz double bassist revered for his impeccable timekeeping and virtuosic improvisations, made significant contributions to the development of jazz bass during the 1950s and 1960s. However, Chambers battled addictions to both alcohol and heroin throughout his lifetime. In 1968, he was hospitalized with what was initially diagnosed as severe influenza, but was later revealed to be tuberculosis. It's believed that his struggles with substance abuse contributed to his declining health, and he passed away on January 4th, 1969, at the age of 33. Stay tuned as we delve further into the lives of musicians who battled alcoholism. 11. Bunny Berigan. Remembered for his iconic recording of I Can't Get Started, Bunny Berigan was a trumpeter and singer who fused the tonal nuances of Bix Beiderbecke with the powerful style of Louis Armstrong, leaving an indelible mark on jazz. However, Berigan's talent was often overshadowed by his struggle with alcoholism. Regardless of his state of sobriety, Berigan remained an exceptional musician. Even when intoxicated, he could still deliver remarkable performances. However, his reliance on alcohol made him unreliable and prone to erratic behavior, eroding the confidence of those around him. By the early 1940s, his alcoholism had taken a severe toll on his health, leading to incidents such as falling off the bandstand or passing out on stage. In June 1942, at the young age of 33, Bunny Berigan succumbed to the ravages of late-stage alcoholism, suffering from cirrhosis of the liver, edema, tremors, and delirium. 10. John Coltrane. John Coltrane, often referred to as Train, is hailed as one of the most influential saxophonists of the 20th century, pushing the boundaries of jazz with his unparalleled technique, sound, and dynamics. However, behind the scenes, Coltrane struggled with alcoholism, a lesser-known aspect of his tumultuous life. Despite his musical genius, Coltrane's personal life was marred by his addiction. He made several attempts to quit alcohol, but his efforts were short-lived, with relapses occurring frequently. Accounts from his contemporaries describe him performing in disheveled attire, exhibiting signs of neglect and substance abuse. Tragically, on July 17, 1967, John Coltrane passed away from an acute liver infection. 9. Dean Martin. Dean Martin, with his suave demeanor, velvety voice, and ever-present rocks glass, epitomized the epitome of cool during the 50s and 60s. He was the quintessential entertainer, effortlessly blending singing, comedy, and a laid-back attitude that made him a beloved figure in American culture. However, behind the charm and charisma, Dean Martin was known for his love of alcohol, both on and off the stage. Frank Sinatra, Martin's close friend and fellow Rat Pack member, famously quipped, "If there's ever an Olympic drinking team, Dean's gonna be the coach." Martin's onstage persona, complete with a seemingly ever-filled rocks glass, perpetuated the image of a man who was always ready to raise a toast. While some speculated that his drink of choice was actually apple juice, the consensus was that Martin always seemed to be inebriated regardless of what was in his glass. Dean Martin's relationship with alcohol was as legendary as his entertainment career. Whether it was apple juice or something stronger, Martin's portrayal of a charming drunkard endeared him to audiences worldwide. 8. Dave Alexander. Dave Alexander, a founding member of the Stooges, was a complex figure whose life was marked by contradictions and tragedy. Described as shy and mysterious, Alexander had a penchant for fast cars and an insatiable thirst for cheap alcohol. His journey with alcohol began at a young age, a habit that persisted throughout his life. According to Ron Ashton, Alexander was way ahead of his time. But his tenure with the Stooges was marred by his struggle with alcohol. After being fired from the band, Alexander's life spiraled further into alcoholism and illness. Despite attempts to diversify his interests, including dabbling in the stock market, Alexander's health deteriorated rapidly. On February 10, 1975, Dave Alexander passed away at the young age of 27 from pulmonary edema with fibrous pneumonitis, a condition exacerbated by his alcoholism. 7. Elliott Smith. Elliott Smith, the acclaimed singer-songwriter, tragically passed away on October 21, 2003, leaving behind a legacy of hauntingly beautiful music. Throughout his life, Smith battled with demons that included alcohol and drug abuse, as well as severe depression. In the months leading up to his death, there were signs of hope as Smith made efforts to turn his life around. He sobered up, adopted a healthier lifestyle by cutting out red meat and sugar, and was in the midst of recording what would be his final album, titled From a Basement on the Hill. However, despite these efforts, Smith's inner turmoil proved insurmountable. On the day of his death, he reportedly stabbed himself in the chest, and despite being rushed to a hospital in Los Angeles, he could not be saved. While the official cause of death was ruled as suicide, there have been lingering questions and speculation, with some reports suggesting foul play. If Elliott Smith had lived, he would have turned 45 years old today. His untimely passing marked the end of a brilliant but troubled artist, leaving behind a void in the music world that can never be filled. 6. Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke, often hailed as the King of Soul, was one of the most influential singers of all time, with a string of hits that left an indelible mark on the music industry. However, behind the glitz and glamour of his success, Cooke grappled with personal demons, including alcoholism. On December 11, 1964, Cooke's life came to a tragic end at the Hacienda Motel in Los Angeles. While staying at the motel, Cooke, who had been drinking, became embroiled in a dispute that culminated in his untimely death. Despite claims from Cooke's family that foul play was involved, his death was ultimately ruled as a justified homicide. Throughout his life, Cooke struggled with emotional turmoil, and his descent into alcoholism was emblematic of his inner struggles. Despite his remarkable talent and success, Cooke's battle with alcohol remained a mystery to those closest to him, leaving behind unanswered questions about the reasons behind his self-destructive behavior. 5. Brenda Fassie. Brenda Fassie was a powerhouse in the South African music scene, captivating audiences with her electrifying performances and fearless activism. However, behind the glamour and fame, Fassie struggled with a dark battle against cocaine and alcohol addiction. In 1995, tragedy struck when Fassie was discovered in a hotel room with her lover, Papi Silala, both suffering from an apparent cocaine overdose. While Fassie survived, Silala tragically lost her life. Despite undergoing rehabilitation following this incident, Fassie continued to grapple with her addiction, facing multiple relapses throughout her life. Despite numerous attempts at seeking help, it's estimated that Fassie received treatment services at drug rehab centers at least 30 times before her death. 4. Phyllis Hyman. Phyllis Hyman's velvety voice and soulful ballads made her a beloved figure in the African American music community. However, behind her radiant stage persona, Hyman battled with mental health issues that ultimately led to her tragic demise. On June 30th, 1995, Hyman died by suicide from a barbiturate overdose, leaving behind a legacy of music and a profound sense of loss. According to reports, Hyman had struggled with suicidal thoughts for years, viewing suicide as a constant option to escape her inner turmoil. Like many individuals grappling with mental illness, Hyman turned to alcohol and drugs as a means of self-medication, attempting to numb the pain of her struggles. 3. Dinah Washington. Dinah Washington, celebrated as the most prominent black female recording artist of the 1950s, tragically met her end in 1963 from a fatal combination of diet pills and alcohol. Her passing marked one of the most infamous female celebrity drug overdoses of the era. The untimely death of Dinah Washington serves as a stark reminder of the potential dangers of combining substances, especially seemingly innocuous ones like diet pills, with alcohol. 2. Tim Buckley. Tim Buckley, the enigmatic singer-songwriter, left an indelible mark on the music world before his untimely demise at the age of 28. On June 29, 1975, Buckley succumbed to a drug and alcohol overdose in Santa Monica, California, leaving behind a legacy of innovative music and unfulfilled potential. Throughout his career, Buckley fearlessly explored various musical genres, blending elements of folk, jazz, funk, and avant-garde to create a unique and captivating sound. Despite earning comparisons to revered artists like Miles Davis and Bob Dylan, Buckley never achieved the widespread critical or commercial success of his peers. 1. Fats Waller. Fats Waller, hailed as the king of the Harlem Stride pianists, was a musical prodigy whose talent captivated audiences around the world. From playing the harmonium for his father's sermons to becoming a renowned pianist and vocalist, Waller's journey was one of unparalleled success and acclaim. However, despite his musical brilliance, Waller battled with alcohol addiction throughout his life. His excessive drinking ultimately contributed to his untimely death at the age of 39 from pneumonia aboard a train at Union Station, Kansas City in December 1943. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. And hey, if you want more jaw-dropping stories about your favorite musicians, check out these videos right here. Trust me, you won't want to miss them. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on RetroTune TV.